many people have been looking at the Exodus. Many are fleeing from X. Some are saying good riddance. They say they're going to Blue Sky. We'll take a look at that. I put together a little video of Ms. Reed and Mr. Lemon here. Let's see what they had to say.
Everyone, I have loved connecting with all of you on Twitter and then on X for all of these years. But it's time for me to leave the platform. I once believed that it was a place for honest debate and discussion, transparency and free speech. But I now feel it does not serve that purpose.
Stop, don't come back.
Hey guys, so today I finally did something I've been meaning to do for a while. And the reason for doing it, and kissing goodbye my 1.9 million followers over there, is because I hadn't been posting for a long time. I just didn't want to contribute content once it was purchased by its present owner. But just having it there, I was only holding on to it because I, really didn't want someone trying to take over that name and using it for nefarious purposes. I was a little bit worried about that.
Bullshit! Bullshit, 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 bullshit!
Some of the boycott is starting to lift. And I think if Trump wins, we'll see, probably most of the boycott lift. But if Kamala wins, we'll see that boycott get stronger. And they'll friggin' shut down. There's no way that the sort of Kamala puppet regime would allow X to exist.
You really think that they'll be able to shut it down, though? Is there a pathway to that?
Yes.
So I think he's probably right about that. And at least so far, he has been proven right about advertisers starting to return, because in the end, these companies are not woke. These companies are whatever they perceive the money play to be. And while that regime was in power, they were terrified that they were going to come in and revoke their privileges. So they, oh yes, Elon Musk, Trump won the election. Look, Comcast, Disney, IBM, among advertisers returning to X after ad freeze. X's former top advertisers, including Comcast, IBM, Disney, Warner Brothers Discovery, and Lionsgate Entertainment, have resumed ad spending on the platform this year, albeit at much lower rates than before. Now, we might cover this on Jimmy tomorrow in more extensively. Now, yes, they did have the biggest migration off the platform in one day, I think about 100,000 after Trump won. They also had the most engagement they've ever had. Engagement was up about 38%. So in the end, that's what advertisers care about. How many people are actually looking at the platform? And in that, at least so far, they've been doing better. So this is kind of
a field day. I mean, after Trump won, Misty and I were kind of talking about this before we even started doing segments about how really Twitter has become a playground for the chuds. He should rename it Chud. That should be the name of the platform. Yeah.
Cannibal humanoid underground dweller.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Perfect.
That's it. Misty got it. Friend of show, Rachel Zegler here. This is kind of foreshadowing our piece on Rumble. Me and Keaton have an ongoing thing about Rachel Zegler.
She's awful. Oh.
Well, Keaton loves her.
I think she's adorable. I think she's spunky.
He loves her.
I like her attitude.
He wants to be
Are you being for real?
He's for real.
Are you being for real?
He loves her.
Oh,
he loves her. He thinks she's based.
I think she's terrific. Yeah.
She's awful. She's insufferable, Keaton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Insufferable.
This is a hill I have to die on. This is
all right. You're dying alone, homie.
Yeah.
by the time she's done tweeting or Instagramming or Snapchatting or whatever she's doing now, you are going to be an army of one. Get off of Elon's app, by the way. The fuck are you doing?
Ugh.
They're eating you up on Twitter. I don't use that app for a reason. He helped get that man elected, and you're giving him business. I was talking about finding catharsis in art. I don't care if you're going to pick a fight with me. It's been done before. Find something real to be mad at today. There's plenty to go around. So, some of her fellow celebrities heard her clarion call, and some journalists. Why The Guardian is no longer posting on X. We wanted to let our readers know that we will no longer post on any official Guardian editorial accounts on the social media site X. We think that the benefits of being on X are now outweighed by the negatives, and that resources could be better used promoting our journalism elsewhere. This is something we have been considering for a while, given the often disturbing content promoted or found on the platform, including far-right conspiracy theories and racism. The U.S. presidential election campaign served only to underline what we have considered for a long time, that X is a toxic media platform and that its owner, Elon Musk, has been able to use its influence to shape political discourse. Now, okay, assuming all of this is true, why didn't you leave the platform when they suppressed the Hunter Biden laptop story? That seems like shaping political discourse to me. FBI pressured Twitter, sent trove of docs hours before post broke Hunter laptop story. Former Twitter execs tell Republicans they erred on Hunter Biden laptop story. So it didn't seem to bother you when Jack Dorsey was the CEO, and he was clearly making blatantly political decisions about blocking a major story on X.
The
Twitter
Guardian itself works to influence. Y'all, they're a huge part of the reason Julian Assange was, the consent was manufactured to arrest Julian Assange. Huge part of the reason. They threw Assange under the bus for years after using his work to personally benefit themselves, make their careers, make tons of money, win awards. Yes. And then listen, the Paul Manafort story from 2018 is still to this day on their website. To this day, thoroughly debunked. Yes, it's still up. Luke Harding's bullshit piece where he, by the way, credit where it's due. He invented a whole ass outfit for Paul Manafort to wear to visit Julian Assange in the embassy that never happened. Like chinos and a whole ass outfit. Thoroughly debunked. That is still up on their website. So the idea that they're calling any news outlet toxic, go fuck yourselves. I have a serious beef with The Guardian. I'm sorry.
As do we all. All right, so let's see some of these celebrities. Guillermo del Toro. Babs has departed. Babs has left the building. Lizzo left. That's really weird to me. They're trying to get away from toxic people and sexual predators, but I seem to remember former Lizzo dancers were weight shamed and pressured while at strip club, lawsuit says. 3 former dancers have filed a suit against Lizzo, accusing the singer of sexual harassment and creating a hostile work environment. Shouldn't they be blocking her from Blue Sky, this dangerous predator that humiliated and fat shamed and sexually harassed her dancers? I thought that's what Blue Sky is all about getting rid of these toxic personalities. Friend of show Ben Stiller over on Blue Sky. Now that might bring me over to meet up with Ben again. George Takei. Everyone was very curious about George Takei. All right, so George Takei is really a fucking weasel because he's been sitting on X for years bitching about X. Now he's taken this to another level because, okay, so this is pinned. This is pinned on his account, and this is November 12th. What's today, the 17th? That's 5 days ago. He's posting all this today, like one after the other. This dropped half hour after this dropped. So it's all about the virtue signal. I had to respond to that. You've really got to be a special kind of stupid to pin your tweet about going to Blue Sky and then keep dropping content here like a crackhead. So far, no response from Mr. Takei. Justine Bateman, who has emerged as a cultural figure in like the last 7 days. This is a new art form. We need a hashtag for it. And these are photos of Don Lemon and I forget who the other one was. Leaving
Gabrielle Union.
There you go, Gabrielle Union. Thank you. So Blue Sky taking a little victory lap. It's official. 1 million people have joined Blue Sky in just the last day. Welcome. Now, to put that in perspective, there are 250 million users on X. And in a bit of watch out what you wish for, you might get it. You wanted the libs, huh, Blue Sky? You wanted the hall monitors over on your platform. Blue Sky is drowning under the weight of leftists reporting everything. 3,000 reports per hour. This is Blue Sky Safety. In the past 24 hours, we have received more than 42,000 reports, an all-time high for one day. We're receiving about 3,000 reports an hour. To put that into context, in all of 2023, we received 360,000 reports. We're triaging this large queue so the most harmful content is removed quickly. So this is going to, I think, be remembered as the Mariel boat lift of social media platform exoduses. Basically, X emptied out all of its complainers, all of its safety cult members, all of the people who are constantly contacting X to complain. It sent them all over to Blue Sky.
And now they're complaining about each other.
And now they're complaining about each other. You cannot make it up. Okay, here's a platform full of libs who have specifically gone there not to encounter an opinion that might trouble them. And that's not good enough for them. They're all ratting each other out.
That's amazing.
I mean, we were talking about this, like Misty and I were talking about this before we started segments, and like, I mean, this is the thing. Like, you got these people like Don Lemon and Joy Reid and, you know, George Takei, who apparently says he's going, but maybe he's not going. Ben Stiller, right? They just the narcissism of these people of having to be liked, needing constant positive reinforcement. That's why they go to a place, or they say they're going to go to a place. They'll probably come back once they realize there's not the traffic over there, just like they did last time.
Oh, of course they will.
That's what they always do.
But it's
they went to Threads, right? They were going to go to Threads.
Yeah, Threads, right? That was the other thing.
Mastodon.
It was the need for positive reinforcement and positive feedback, as opposed to just going where the people are and dealing with the negative feedback. Like Misty and I were talking about how, and this could be, you know, due to some algorithmic fuckery. It could just be that there are a lot. I mean, I'm sure it's probably both. There are a lot of really in their feelings MAGA bitches on X. They are. And for all the trashing of the wokesters that they like to engage in, I've never met a whinier crop of bitches than the MAGA people. Like, when you cross them, it is just like they have absolutely no fuse whatsoever.
If you just tell them the truth,
right? Yeah, exactly.
They get very angry.
Exactly. So you get a lot of shit. You get a lot of shit from them when you post something that triggers them, and they get triggered just as hard as the libs and just as often. But the point is, so what? Like, do it anyway. Like, who cares? Like, unless you are really in need. And this is why I say the narcissism of these people, like, unless you really need that constant positive reinforcement, just go where the people are. And if they bitch about your stuff, then let them fucking complain. I don't care. What do you think? It bothers me when somebody fucking trolls my post or whatever. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? That's part of the game. That's why you're there, right? I mean, this is social media. This is own or be owned. It's part of the game. That's what happens.
Well, that's it. Without any friction, it's just not interesting. So everyone winds up going back to X. It's just not interesting to be surrounded by people. I mean, that's, Facebook has kind of become that organically as people who really want to fight with people have gone to platforms like X. Like, if you want a more hermetically sealed experience where you're only interacting with your friends, just go to Facebook. Like, what do you need to even have something like Blue Sky for? I think that might be part of why these alternatives to X haven't really worked out, because what's the point? Like, what's the point?
Conflict sells. Conflict always sells. Right.
Well, and if you don't want conflict, get off social media.
Right.
Like, it's real simple to just delete your account and get off. It's not required to survive to be on social media. And social media is brutal. That's just the way that it is. Right?
Yeah.
But that's just the way that it is. And you're right. It's narcissism. And I think that a lot of it is that they genuinely believe that they have a right to exist in this world where nobody says anything that they don't agree with. And it offends them deeply that somebody can get away with saying something that they don't agree with. And I mean, not to bring up Ricky Gervais again, but I will. Just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right. Like, you don't get to just go around policing what everybody says and how they think and feel. And that's and Keaton, you're absolutely right. MAGA is just as bad, arguably worse at times. I mean, it just depends on the subject matter, but that's the
context.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that but that's also what's so funny is because they're both of those stupid cults are busy pointing fingers at each other, and they're just mirror images of each other. They really are just mirror images.
This is what I will say. In general, because they've been on the wrong side of it now for a while, the MAGA people's solution is generally not that you should not be allowed to speak. That's
generally, yes, you're correct.
Generally,
they might get butthurt, but they don't go complain to the manager.
And listen, a lot of MAGA people follow me and on Twitter, and I'm not shy. You know what I mean? And they continue to follow me. They disagree with me on a whole lot. But they continue to follow me. I agree with you on that. Generally speaking,
you're dealing with a religious cult. Yes. Where they don't just disagree with you, you are evil. You are literally evil incarnate if you don't agree with them. We saw that today when I thought it was really funny to me and to Jimmy. So Jimmy spoke. He did a talk back at this theater show that we were live streaming today. And I could see the couple in the front getting more and more upset as Jimmy kept talking. And like getting into, Trump and Rogan and, man, like he knew his audience and he really wanted to stick the knife in, I think, because he gave them his top drawer monologue. He laid everything that would piss off a lib in like a 10-minute speech. And I could see them getting more and more angry, and finally the woman stood up while Jimmy was still talking and started yelling at Kevin, the guy who was showing us, it was such a nice show, and I had to ruin it. I don't think MAGA people would act like that. It's not my experience.
Well, I'm not talking about like reporting you to I'm talking about the kind of feedback.
I guarantee you, they're going to complain to the theater. Oh, I'm gonna ask Kevin if he got complaints.
Oh, for sure they're gonna complain.
The run is over now, but what I'm talking about is like if you're posting, you get that kind of, even if they're not reporting you, the negative feedback, the ratios, the negative comments. That's what I mean.
As often as I go after Elon and Trump and Kennedy and Tulsi, I get it all the time, and in particular, I get it on the Assange issue because they don't like to hear the truth about Trump's role in Julian Assange's situation.
That is very true.
And they get very angry when I point out the facts on that. And I get blocked all the time by them, but to my knowledge, they don't report me on a mass scale quite the way that the libs do. So yes, I agree with that. They handle it differently, but they are.
They've been most recently on the receiving end. Now, what is nice about what I'm seeing with Trump is, for my entire life, the people you fought about censorship were the fucking moral majority Christian fundamentalist people. So it seems like we're going to get back to more comfortable ground for me. I'm going to be fighting the enemy I'm used to.
Right, but what I'm talking about in terms of like why they're leaving, like they're not leaving because people are reporting them. They're leaving because they're just getting negative feedback. They're getting ratioed on their posts, and they don't like dealing with the shit. And that's where I'm saying, like, I know I'm gonna get more shit when I do an anti-Trump post than when I dunk on the libs. Like that's just I understand.
Right, sure.
Why does it bother you? Like, it doesn't bother me. Why should it bother Ben Stiller, who lives in a fucking $20 million mansion? Like, what the fuck do you care if some fucking trolls ratio you on Twitter? Who gives a shit?
That's
what I'm saying. That's how narcissistic they are. Like, it bothers them. These are people who have
But that's the same reason they won't ultimately leave. They'll all be back.
Yeah.
They'll all be back because they're not going to go somewhere where there's no audience for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Please clap.